Hi there. I think you can tell from the look of my greenhouse what our first job is on the list. We need to get this cleaned up. And while I run the water, I'll tell you what the rest of the things are going to do over the next few days, which is planning and making a cover for the allotment. We're going to visit the allotment, clear some beds and plant some tates, harvest and then use the harvest. So let's get stuck into this greenhouse. I often use a plant label to get rid of some of the muck in between the glasses and some of the moss that gets stuck and grows in the little gaps between the glass and the rest of the greenhouse. At this time of year it can be quite dry and easy to get out, so I try and get it out before I start washing. I tend to just use a bit of dish soap, sort of a bit of water and a cloth and just get cleaning, because I'm not really looking for perfect here. I'm just trying to get it clean enough that it's going to let a lot more light in this year. I must admit I didn't clean it last year, so it's really built up and it was starting to affect growth of the plants, so I definitely needed to get it done this year. Any doubt that it was dirty, just look at the colour of the water. It's almost black, so we've definitely got it better. Now I thought this was a good idea at the time. Oh, rinse it off with water, that'll be a great idea, stop it from going cloudy. But yeah, didn't quite calculate for the kickback on the water, and so ended, even though I kept jumping back, ended up getting a little bit wetter than I was intending on getting, so maybe I won't do that next time. Certainly gave up doing it to the rest of the greenhouse as a bit of a fool's errand. But it does look a lot cleaner. There is so much difference compared to the beginning. Okay, so on day 2, getting that cover sorted. I need a general net cover for the brassica cage. I've got this micro mesh that does really well at keeping some of the bugs out, but unfortunately it keeps a lot of the white fly in, so I want a wider mesh for the rest of the year. So I need to get each of the sides measured, the height and the beds, because I need to decide what is going to be the most economical use of the net. So measuring the height and the sides and the widths, then hopefully I can generally get the idea of what sort of size net I need and what will be the best use of it. Okay, so this is where I was working it out. Took each of the measurements and then I decided, oh, I wonder what a whole hoop on its own would be like compared to going over the whole thing. So I worked out each of those by adding the lengths together, and it was quite interesting because at first I thought the 2 hoops are going to be shorter, that's going to take less material, but when I actually worked it out, the distance between the 2 top pieces actually saves you materials. So I thought, next thing is width of the material, which is here as you can see. I've got 8 metres by 4 metres of net. If I did it in one go, it would take all of the main centre part just for one hoop, so I wouldn't have enough to do the 2 hoops. Whereas if I take part of it and then take 2 other side parts and sew them together, I've got enough net. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so I got it all cut. I didn't film it because there's no way I could film that size piece of net being sorted out. And then I generally attached it just with a few threads so that I could try it out. So here we are getting off the old netting that's there. You'll also notice some of the blue pipes are a bit collapsed. Yeah, they need fixing. We'll sort that at a later date. And of course, get some purple sprouting broccoli while we're here. I mean, why not? It'll be yummy later. So I tried carefully to get this netting into the bag. So now we've got to carefully get it over the blue pipes so that I can sew up the ends, which on this day was a little tricky because it was rather windy. But I was pleased to see that it actually does cover the whole cage, so that we've got good coverage here. So now I just need to get the sides sewn up properly, because as you can see here it's just sort of tacked from where I was leaving it in case I made a load of mistakes and had to resort it. But I'm just going to stitch it up with some cotton thread, quite thick, just in like a running stitch really. So just trying to get all those bits joined up so that any larger animals such as birds can't get in, because that would be terrible. So then I got into the greenhouse at the allotment, and last year we tried out some trays and big pots and I liked it. So I've got a couple more, because there didn't seem any point buying any last year when we didn't know whether it was going to work. And I'm going to try and get some old horse muck that has been well rotted down, although it's been outside so it's a bit damp, into the bottom of the pots to kind of give them a reservoir of goodness, and then I'll just top them off with some potting compost, because they are such big pots, they need something to fill them up. These are last year's. I'm tipping old compost in to top them up, and I'll also put in some fresh to reinvigorate them a bit as well. And then we'll get the tomatoes in again in here this year. I tend to find that I need the greenhouse for tomatoes because of preventing blight. If I plant them outside, they all seem well and good until they start to ripen, and then they've gone. Okay, so day 5, bit of a tidy up and potatoes as it says there. So got to get out these old bean trellises from last year, because yeah, I just left them in until I got time, which was now. And as you can see today, it's quite cold and a little bit windy, so hence the silly hat and the coat. Keep you nice and warm, no point getting a chill. So let's see, I've got to get this cover off and take the bricks away so that I can get it out. This is banged in to the bed in autumn to try and keep the salad crops protected over the winter. They don't need specific protection, but it just stops the hard frost and directs any snow that falls off them, but still waters the bed, but not too much that they get so damp off and die. So they're quite a handy piece of kit really. All they are is wood, cable ties and a bit of old sheeting that well, somebody gave us really, and just getting a bit of hoeing done, trying to get some of the weeds out. I'll pick them off in a little bit, and then we should be good to go with the potato planting. And this year I intend to top up, because as you can see the bed is settling out here, so I intend on topping it up a bit. So we'll plant the potatoes, and as they come through, that's when I'll choose to top it up with a bit more soil. Also noticed here that there is some damage to the bed, so that will need to be repaired at some point, but not today because I haven't got the wood and I need to get these potatoes in. I don't know whether you noticed that because it went by quite quickly, but these happen to be Charlottes. I really like a Charlotte potato. They're nice and waxy and they go in salads very well, but I also like them as new boiled potatoes. I just find them really tasty, so I hope these take well. I often leave them in a bit later than they should be left in so that I get nice big ones. I know that people like little salad potatoes, but I'd rather chop them up and get tons of harvest. Anyway, here they go, into the ground. It's so soft, I'm just managing to do it with my hand. You might see me also wiggle my hand about a bit in the soil, and that's because our resident mole likes to leave little tunnels. So it's at this time of year when I'm planting something that, sorry mole, but I'm going to wiggle my hand about and wreck those tunnels that you've made so that my potatoes will grow properly. Now I have planned more beds of potatoes because we do eat quite a lot of potatoes. I've got some first earlies, second earlies and some main crop, and a few that I saved last year myself as an experiment. So I won't show you those, but we will be getting them in later. Now this bed needs a bit of a clear as well. So in here you can see that we've got the old bits of cabbage that need to come out and get sent to the compost bins and get made into nice compost, so I can top those beds up a bit more. I'm happy to say we're still getting a few little harvests here and there as well. So we've got some spring onions, and they don't want to come out on their own, so it looks like I'm harvesting the lot. And wow, look at that root system. I can get this soil left here so I don't take it home to my kitchen, but that is amazing. We do struggle here with onion rot, but we seem to be able to grow some spring onions, so I'm happy with that. I tend to get them trimmed off before I take them home. Might as well leave plenty of the stuff in the compost bin rather than take it home and then either get thrown away or just generally chucked. You can see each of the root systems having to be teased apart to try and get them away from each other. So this is where we're up to. Now these beds will need clearing, but I haven't got time today because there's a lot of spinach and that will take some time to process, so I'm not going to take that out today. I'm going to clear these ones that have gone to seed, and I'm going to try and get as much coriander out as I can, so the beds are at least a little bit closer to being ready for when I want to plant more potatoes, because some of those potatoes I was talking about are going to go here. So there's some nice coriander. I don't know whether you noticed there, but it was getting so windy that it was blowing a bag in front of the camera, and the camera was shaking all over the place, so I had to stop filming that bed. Well, you can see the progress that we got done today, and I'm quite happy with that. It's starting to look ready for spring now, and hopefully we'll start getting more crops in. You can also see where I've got the carrots in, all nice and covered. Here's the salad that we brought home, so I'll eat that later. Okay, so this is all the coriander that I brought home, and all I'm going to do is just take off the leaves the best I can. Now, after a bit of experimentation, I like to get them off by just sliding them down the stalk, because I don't want to be here forever. So I'm trying to do it as quick as I can without putting too much stalk in. I have done this before and left the stalks in, but I found that it made the final product very hard, and I had to get those bits out, and nobody liked it in their dinner. So what am I doing? Well, I'm just going to dehydrate it. This is going to be pretty much a year's worth of dried coriander, so it doesn't matter time of the year, I'm going to have some coriander. I mean, I do grow fresh as well, but you want this for when you can't get your fresh anymore. Either it's gone to seed or you just can't grow it at that time of year. So get it all spread out, and then we'll get it nice and dry, and then I'll have it for the rest of the year into the dehydrator. Now, you could do this in your oven. I'd probably prop the oven door open a little bit and put it on the lowest heat setting that you've got, probably about 50 degrees. And then this is what it comes out like. And what you're looking for is a real crispiness. There shouldn't be any bending or folding. It should be going almost into a powder by itself. You can see that there. So now it's all dry. I need to get it stored, and I'm going to try and get it all into this one jar, because the less air in the jar the better, because there'll be less moisture in there with the coriander. And this is the other reason you want it really, really dry, because if it isn't, it could go mouldy. It's so dry you can see it dropping through there as well, look, onto the table, which I've cleaned so I can sweep up and use that in the jar anyway, so that'll be fine. As I shove it in, it crinkles it up as well, so I'm not even going to bother making it into tiny pieces. Just the transferring from the dehydrator to the jar, and then from the jar to whatever else I put it in later on will crinkle it up. But if in doubt, I can just rub it through my hands. Look at that for a big jar full. Super! If you stay to the end, thanks for watching. I think I got tons done over these last few days, and hopefully I'll get loads more done in the future. Thanks for watching.